Hi. So I just got done watching Fear Street Prom Queen, and I want to rant about it because I'm just so frustrated right now. Just to give you some background, this movie is supposedly a continuation of the Fear Street trilogy that was released in 2021, that was directed and written by Lee Janiak. Basically, the idea was that three movies, one taking place in 1994, 1978, and 1666, all of which were about this centuries long history of these two towns and the kind of like murderous pasts that they've had. I'll get more into it later. Supposedly, a continuation of that set in 1988. In this, we have our protagonist Lori, very 80s setup where she's the unpopular girl at school. She gets bullied and stuff for her parents' history and like the things she wears and stuff. Primarily, she's bullied for the fact that her father was murdered, basically suspected by the entire town that her mother did it, though the police could never prove it. Lori's big bullies are the Falconers. I can't even remember the main girl's name. The rich mean girl and her mean girl group, and they called them the Wolf Pack. Believe might have been because the school was named the Shady Side Wolves. It felt like they just needed a name to call the mean girl group, and so they just went with Wolf Pack. It's a slasher movie, and it's in the 80s. People get picked off one by one at prom night, as you can imagine. Prom night, and people start getting picked off one by one. Primarily, it is the other prom candidates. Culminates in Lori winning prom queen because of a dance-off that she has with the mean girl. There's so many needle drops. It's literally just there to say, hey, this is set in the 80s, just in case you forgot. They catch the killer, and it turns out that it's the mean girl's dad. But then you look at the runtime, and there's still like 15 minutes left. Lori accompanies the mean girl home because the mean girl is talking about like, oh, I'm bullied by my parents and stuff. Turns out that her mom was another one of the killers, and also the mean girl was another one of the killers. It was an entire family of killers, and they were killing off all of the other prom candidates. It turned out that their family were the ones that killed Lori's dad and tried to frame her mother for it. In the original trilogy, Shadyside and Sunnyvale, and it's the Shadyside Witches and the Sunnyvale Devils. In this, they're called the Shadyside Wolves, no mentions of witches. The reason why in the original trilogy they're called the Witches and the Devils is in reference to the lore. In colonial times, when there were no two towns, it was just one town called Union. The story that most people know of is that there was this witch during the witch trials and stuff named Sarah Fear, made a deal with the devil for immortality, but she was hanged. Her spirit every decade or so will possess a Shadysider and make them go crazy and kill a bunch of people. In the 1666 movie, what we find out, Good Family, Goode, was the one who made the deal with the devil in exchange for giving the name of a Shadysider who would go crazy and kill a bunch of people. They would in turn get a bunch of wealth and affluence, crime-free town. In the title sequence in 1994, they talk about how Sunnyvale celebrates its 50th year with no violent crime, making a deal with the devil so that nothing bad would happen in your town and all of the bad things would just happen in this other town that's underprivileged and underfunded. Then blame it on that town, the ones who are making everything bad. It's class commentary, is what it is. But here, in Prom Queen, they just named the school the Wolves so that they could name the mean girl group the Wolf Pack. The Falconer family. The Falconer family and Lori's family, they both live in Shadyside. But Lori and her mom, relatively poor, and the Falconers are very wealthy. Doesn't make sense if this was still, like, Shadyside and Sunnyvale, because Sunnyvale is the one that's wealthy, and Shadyside is the one that is underfunded. There are virtually no references to the original trilogy. The amount of omissions make it feel like it's just a completely different universe. I literally only counted 3 references: Sharpie scribble on a bathroom wall referencing Sarah Fear, 2 lines referencing What Happened in 78, which was another one of the movies. Post-credits tag, where one of the dead bodies, the blood, formed the demonic sigil, Deal with the Devil, that the Good family made. Other than that, there's no mention of anything else. In the original trilogy, part of the horror was the lack of care that people's lives seemed to have. Sunnyvalers and Shadysiders alike just tossed up these mass murders to another Shadysider went crazy. In Prom Queen, at the prom, when people start disappearing, no one even begins to think that they've been murdered. If you've been living in a town that has had regular mass murders for hundreds of years, if a bunch of people started going missing, I think that would be my first thought. The casting, I want to make a disclaimer, I am not putting this on the actual actors themselves. I am putting this on the casting director of this film. In the original trilogy, part of what made the story unique and interesting was the racial diversity in the characters, but primarily how that was used to add to the class commentary, where the kids from Shadyside, a town that is underprivileged, underfunded, and generally written off as dangerous, are people of color. And the kids from the more wealthy town are primarily white. In Prom Queen, it's just a whole bunch of teenage white girls that virtually look identical, and then one token black girl that I honestly feel like she only died when she did because the writers realized they couldn't kill her off first, because it would look bad. Oh, God, there's this other part where in order to, get people to vote for her, the mean girl has her and her friends take off their dresses to reveal bathing suits, American flag on them, and do, a sexy dance number at prom. Also, there's a dance-off. God, this is actually an adaptation of one of the original Fear Street novels that the trilogy was based upon. In terms of the trilogy, based upon is pretty loose. Though it was a loose adaptation, it still told a good story. Here, it's like they decided to adapt the book, but didn't give any thought as to how it would connect to the wider universe. If they just made this a regular adaptation and they didn't put the Fear Street name on it, I feel like this could have been a lot more solid. I don't know, other than that, it just feels just so predictable and stuff. It's just treading a lot of the same ground that so many other period piece homage slasher movies have done. It's just,